Testing, good morning. How's everybody doing? It's lovely to see you in person, like sharing space. So I heard rumor today that memory and remembering things, and so we're going to do, our music's going to be about remembering. Good. There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places had their moments when lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I love them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you, and these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. In my
That's beautiful. Thank you, Livonne Hardiston. Livonne is a singer-songwriter who lives in Olympia. She's been here before. She and Cerny go way back. And of course, thank you to the band. Yeah. She just got back from the Brooklyn Jazz Festival in Wales, and if you want to find out more about her music, you can go to livonnehardiston.com. So, oh, I thought somebody was waving at me. Welcome to the light and the love that is unity of South Sound. My name is Barbara Baumel, and it is my joy to be here this morning with you all. If you have any concerns, joys, questions, contact us either at the office. You can always, call and share. Go to our website, and at this time, I'm going to invite you to put your cell phones into the silence, and then invite you to relax into and reconnect and center into the truth of who we are. Please join me in saying our opening affirmation. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe: God, goodness, omnipotence. And our mission statement is, inspired by the divine, as an inclusive spiritual community, we explore and express our highest potential. Our vision statement: present and centered in divine love, we co-create a peaceful and awakened world. Our core values: we are love, joy, abundance, and spirit guided. And now Reverend Megan will lead us in an opening prayer.
I didn't test the bottom. Yep, there we go. So we light the light, and I am channeling my best version of Myrtle Fillmore today. As we tap back into our unity history and roots and the relevance of why we exist. And so I just invite you to be in that place. Take in a deep breath and feel the breath of God breathing you. We know that every breath reminds us of the divinity we are and the beautiful experience we have in this physical life moment. The unity history reminds us of we are here to experience all that we came here to be and to practice to the best of our ability what it is to be our divinity. And so we give thanks for the gift of life, for the gift of the opportunity to practice and experience. And we hold that intention for ourselves, for all those that we love, for this unity community, and the world at large. What a beautiful gift every breath brings to us in this moment, and so it is. Amen.
I invite you, if you're able, to stand and join with our song leaders, Joey Sandal-Hill and Annie Lane Ryan.
Weave us together.
This is the time when we greet each other now with a unity namaste. Spirit in me blesses the spirit in you. And I'm just going to ask and challenge you and talk to someone you don't normally talk to today, someone you haven't talked to before. Okay? Namaste.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
And now Reverend Megan will lead us in a time of meditation. Good move.
So in preparing for prayer and meditation, which that song was so perfect, we're kind of coming back to our roots today and some of the traditions of unity in time. And so I'm going to invite you, because you know the prayer for protection, to sing along with me this song that was written by Deanna Rattan, who is former music director at Seattle Unity, and many of you might know her. She lives in the South Sound area. Singing into meditation so that we can begin to feel the vibration of that we are as we take that journey from our head into our heart space. The light of God surrounds me, the love of God enfolds me, the power of God protects me, the presence of God watches over me wherever I am, wherever I am, wherever I am. God is the light of God surrounds me, the love of God enfolds me, the power of God protects me, the presence of God watches over me wherever I am, wherever I am, wherever I am. God is. And so we take a deep breath. We feel that presence of God within us, allowing the vibration of our singing bowl to take us to the next level. So with your eyes gently closed, allow the vibration to feel into you. Noticing your breath, feeling your breath, becoming one with your breath. Notice where the vibrations touch you. What is awakening within you? Be one with the rhythm of your heart as you breathe in the vibration of the universe. The light of God surrounds me. Notice that, feel that. Allow it to be a part of you. The love of God enfolds me. Breathe it in. Be one with that love. The power of God protects me in every moment with all the wisdom I'll ever need. I breathe it in and I feel safe as I surrender into this moment now. The presence of God watches over me, in and through and as me, in every moment, with every breath. For wherever I am, God is and I am. And so going deeper into the silence of your being, surrender into this truth. Be one with it. I breathe in. I breathe out. I feel. I know. And I realize the divinity within me that I choose to bring forth into everything I think, say, and do becomes a blessing. So I live from that, one moment at a time, bringing my awareness back into this moment, to this physical time with each other, feeling the blessing that I am and that we are with each other. And so it is. Amen.
So this is a song that when I was in my 20s, yesterday, it's one of those songs that I used to think was so corny. And the more I'm on the planet and expanding, the more I'm kind of like, it's just saying something true. Try to remember the kind of September when life was slow and oh so mellow. Try to remember the kind of September when grass was green and grain was yellow. Try to remember the kind of September when you were a tender and callow fellow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow. Try to remember when life was so tender and no one wept except the willow. Try to remember when life was so tender, when dreams were kept beside your pillow. Try to remember when life was so tender and love was an ember about to billow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow.
Oh, thank you. What a sweet memory to have from that song. So today, we're going back to our roots. And we're going to have some fun. We have some really fun surprises for you today. When I think about why we're here, where we came from, why am I even doing what I'm doing? I remember the amazing courage and resiliency and creative inspiration that came from our founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. And this is what Charles said about our movement. Unity is a link in the great educational movement inaugurated by Jesus Christ. Our objective is to discern the truth in Christianity and prove it. The truth we teach is not new, neither do we claim special revelations or discovery of new religious principles. Our purpose is to help mankind to use and prove the eternal truth taught by the Master, or I would say, and masters. So today we explore what is ours to do within unity. We stand on a rich heritage of courage and inspirational leadership that set into motion this moment that we stand on within our ministry, Unity of South Sound. And I feel it both important and relevant to explore where our unity movement came from to empower us in realizing what is really ours to do as a unity ministry moving forward. In reinvesting or revisiting our history and what Charles and Myrtle Fillmore's story, the founders of our unity movement that officially began in 1889, has been a few years. That we find value in seeing why we exist as a unity ministry and what is ours to create, to demonstrate, and to become over time, and how it makes a difference not only in our lives, but in the world around us. So when I was in ministerial school, demonstrate how set in our ways we can become even in the midst of choosing transformational spiritual practices. So how many light bulbs does it take for truth students to change a light bulb in Unity Chapel? None. For how could we possibly replace a light bulb that Charles Fillmore installed? Yes. So there has been an undercurrent over time that everything the Fillmores did is kind of like a sacred cow, and that it would be disrespectful for us to change anything they established. And we can all fall easily into that mindset. Perhaps we have some sacred cows here at Unity South Sound, I don't know, worth exploring. However, if we get really clear on the history, the intentions, and the guidelines that unity was created from, we realize the Fillmores would never have supported not changing as we evolve in time. Charles himself was quoted as saying, "I reserve the right to change my mind." Knowing that any given moment, new and relevant information or knowledge may come into his awareness that is important, meaningful, and worthy of consideration to enhance the forward movement of existence, whether it's for me or whatever I'm working with. So, no, we are a part of a spiritual movement with a proud heritage of exploring the leading edge of spirituality. Charles and Myrtle understood the importance of continuing the quest to find new and more in-depth ways to apply spiritual principle. And that's what we explore here on Sundays and in our educational courses and classes. Universal law itself is unchanging. We need to understand that. But how we apply it should evolve over time as our practices and our practical experiences yield new understanding. Unity of South Sound leadership team and myself are standing in this realization as we are taking steps to reevaluate all that we are as a ministry. And how can we prepare for an abundant, thriving, and yet evolving future? So stay tuned for more. It will be revealed as it is made clear for ours to do, and we will invite you into the participation of manifesting our thriving future. So let us consider, who is unity? Not what, but who? And where do we come from? Not many would argue that we're in the midst of global awakening. Fueled by emerging crisis on a planetary scale, humanity is searching for a new way of being, one that is life-affirming. But that puts the best of who we are and what we have to offer in service to the whole of life. Unity's teachings are ideally suited for this task. And when we apply them, they are realistic, and they are a clear view of where we are as a global community and how each of us can contribute. So coming here and absorbing and considering all that we have to offer is a way of how we can apply it practically to our life. Co-founders Myrtle and Charles Fillmore did that when they made this dedication covenant in their work and service in unity, and I felt it was worthy to share with you. And they didn't share this publicly for over a decade, but it was something they made a commitment to themselves. We, Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore, husband and wife, hereby dedicate ourselves, our time, our money, all that we have and all that we expect to have, to the Spirit of truth, and through it, to the Society of Silent Unity. It being understood and agreed that the said Spirit of truth shall render unto us an equivalent of this dedication in peace of mind, health of body, wisdom, understanding, love, life, and abundant supply of all things necessary to meet every want without our making any of these things the object of our existence. In the presence of the conscious mind of Christ Jesus, the 7th day, December 1892, and they signed it. So the Fillmore story is of healing, courage, and a conscious decision to live in their practice and to be of service. So let us take a sneak peek into the lives of the Fillmores and what they have to say about their journey into Unity's creation.
The home of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore and their 3 boys. Lowell, what's that? It is in Kansas City, Missouri in 1894. So Charles and Myrtle are in their home with their 3 boys. Lowell is 12 years old, Rickard is 10, and Royal is 5. Also present is Grandma Fillmore, Charles' mother.
Mama, Papa, you promised to tell us stories today about when you were young. Rickard and Lowell are coming in now too. Oh, please.
Yes, Royal, we're all ready. Come on in, boys, and let's sit down. Be quiet now. Mama will start the story.
Well, I was the 8th of 9 children. And when I was born, I was named Mary Caroline Page.
Mary Caroline? I thought you were Myrtle.
Yes, I am now, but I'll get to that. I was born in 1845 in Pagetown, Ohio. Catch that? Pagetown. The town was named for my father, Marcus Page. He was quite the visionary, and he put a lot of effort into growing his town. Eventually, Pagetown had a small hotel, a post office, a general store, and my favorite, the school. But surprisingly, there was no church for many years.
No church?
Yeah, the townspeople, including my family, attended services in a nearby town or in one of the village's homes until finally a Methodist church started in Pagetown. We attended regularly, and I loved the hymns and the feeling of reverence that came over me when the minister prayed. But I never became a member of my parents' church, for even at a very young age, I found much of the doctrine unacceptable. It was difficult for me to understand how my wonderful mother, who loved so devoutly, could worship a punishing God. I quietly denied the part I could not accept and affirmed the truths my soul could accept, truths that are with me today. My childhood dreams were like those of any young girl on the American frontier, saving hard-earned pennies for candy at the general store, looking forward to Christmas and my birthday, fingering cloth and envisioning new dress for Sunday school. And I dreamed of being healthy like the other girls, but I was sick a lot, and my parents told me that I had inherited tuberculosis.
What is tuberculosis?
Tuberculosis is an infection of the lungs, and It's like having a very bad cold that just won't go away.
Doctors said that I should rest all the time and not be active, and yet my parents often gave in and let me go out and play anyway. I especially love to take walks in the woods along the creeks. Now I'm ready to share how I got the name Myrtle. I think my father started calling that on one of our walks when we passed by a myrtle, an evergreen bush with a fragrant flower. He said myrtle is mentioned in the Bible and is a symbol of God making good on his promises. Well, as soon as I heard the name Myrtle, I knew that my true name was that, and I asked everyone to start calling me that, and the name stuck. So Papa always seemed to understand my need to follow my dreams. He even encouraged me to go to college in a day when few girls ever did so, though he did not get to see me do that. A year after he passed on, though, when I was 21, I took the one-year college course for ladies.
Only 1 year?
Yes, Rickert. I would have loved to attend longer, but the 4-year college program was only for men back then. Even so, 1 year was enough for me to get a teaching license. So after graduation, I left Ohio to teach in the public schools in Clinton, Missouri. 2 of my brothers had already moved there, and so I moved in with one of them. But I miss my mama so much, and sadly, she died while I was out there. Oh. But I love being a teacher, and I taught there for 13 years except for 1 year in the middle. I was so weak and sickly that I took 1 year to teach in Texas, believing that the warm climate would help me heal with my persistent tuberculosis. But by that time, I was 31, the very definition of an old maid school teacher.
Old maid? But when did you meet Papa?
Patience, Rickard. Let me take the story from here. Actually, I think I should start at the beginning. I was born in 1854 in Minnesota on a Chippewa Indian reservation.
Are you an Indian?
No, Royal. My father was a trader there, and he was like a traveling store. He traveled and sold supplies from the city to the Indians and handicrafts, and we lived in a log cabin, and my father had built.
You and your brother Norton seemed to get along quite well on that reservation. You learned the Chippewa language and were accepted in many teepees and lodges as freely as the Indian children who were your friends.
I remember it was kind of a Huckleberry Finn existence. Hunters and trappers came and went. Roving bands of Chippewa and Sioux Indians passed by our cabin. Exciting.
Sounds exciting, but wasn't it ever scary with the Indians and all?
Oh,
there were some scary times. The Indians were nearly always on the warpath, not only with one another, but sometimes with the whites. I have a story for you boys that I don't think you've ever heard. Once when Grandpa Fillmore was away and I was alone in the cabin with baby Charles, who was less than 2 years old, a band of painted Sioux rushed up to the cabin. The leader, a towering medicine man, fantastically painted and decked in the full costume of his profession, strode into the cabin, grabbed little Charles from my arms, and rode away with him. I was crying and beside myself with worry all day, and no one could help me. Finally, in the evening, the warriors brought him back. Charles was too young to be able to say or ever remember what happened to him that day, but he always had the vague feeling that they used him in some mystical ceremony. I just thank God that he was returned unharmed.
another sad day was when our father moved out and built another cabin 10 miles away. I was only 7 years old and my brother Norton was only 5. We were able to visit our father sometimes, but he did not give us any supplies to take home.
I was just 26. Fortunately, I had some skills in sewing, so I became a dressmaker and managed to make enough to keep the 3 of us clothed and fed.
And Norton and I helped by fishing and hunting wild game. We also picked wild berries, and the Indians taught us how to collect wild rice in the fall. We went out in a canoe, and bending the rice blades into the canoe, we would beat the grains off the stems with a stick. We caught the rice in a basket and brought it home to dry and store. Those were good times, but they weren't to last.
No, Norton was about your age, Rickard, when he ran away. We looked everywhere and couldn't find him, and we thought maybe he was dead, until he contacted us years later. I missed him so much.
Where did he go?
That's a long story for another time.
And the other bad thing that happened, when I was only 10 years old, I went out with friends for a fun day of ice skating and ended up being carried back with a dislocated and badly torn up hip. It was never correctly set, and I was left limping in pain. I saw a succession of doctors. Each doctor commented that it was a wonder I survived the quack before him. I was bled, leeched, cupped, lanced, blistered, boiled, and seasoned. I had contracted a terrible infection that lasted for about 2 years and drained my energy. Eventually, doctors gave up and told us that my hip socket was destroyed, and I would have to just be a cripple for the rest of my life. My right leg even stopped growing and remained several inches shorter than my left.
What?
Just listen. Even as a boy, your papa was a fighter, and whenever he could, he'd be up on a pair of homemade crutches, hopping around the cabin, doing whatever he could to help his mama. In a few years, he grew strong enough to quit using the crutches altogether, but he still limped and lived with pain in his hip.
Papa, you were only 10, like me? You couldn't run and play anymore? Did you read a lot?
No, I couldn't read very well, and there were very few books available on the Indian reservation. The little one-room school there had only one teacher for all the children of all ages. School only lasted 3 months a year during the coldest part of winter. And so, as you can imagine, after my accident, it was hard to even get to school on crutches in a wintry, snowy Minnesota. I went when I could, but without any personal tutoring, I got really behind. Anyway, I needed to get a job to help Mama. Despite the fact that I could hardly read and write, when I was 15, I got a job as a printer's apprentice. I also worked as a grocery clerk and later as an assistant to the cashier in a bank.
About this time, Charles became friends with another teenager named Edgar. His mother, Mrs. Taylor, another one-year college graduate, was trying to get Edgar to read books. Edgar had little interest in it, but Charles, who couldn't go out playing and hunting with the other boys, was fascinated. Mrs. Taylor loaned Charles books and patiently taught him grammar and gave him writing exercises. Finally, he got a real education. He was already in his late teens.
Yeah, reading actually opened up my world. I was curious about everything, so I soon devoured all the books Mrs. Taylor loaned me, books by Shakespeare and all the classic authors, as well as Eastern religions, metaphysics, and spiritualism. I had gone to the Episcopal Church with my mother a few times, but never took to that religion. Mrs. Taylor introduced me to a few new ideas coming out of New England, where people were questioning traditional Christian religions. I really did like it when Miss Taylor and I learned about transcendentalism, which taught us that God flows through all nature and humanity. Then, at the age 19, I was ready for more adventure and wanted to see the Wild West. So I left home for Oklahoma and the Colorado Indian Reservation, where my cousin lived. I soon got a job 25 miles to the south in East Texas as a clerk in a freight office of the railroad. I worked there for 6 years, helping record and oversee the shipping of goods by train.
Soon after he moved to Texas, I received a letter from Charles asking me to come and live with him. Of course, I got on the train and came right away. I moved my dressmaking business there, and together we made Texas our home. We have always been very close.
And Grandma has lived with you and us ever since, right?
But you still haven't told us how you met Mama.
Okay, Rickard. I remember it well. The day I first saw your mama in Texas in 1877, at a meeting of the Literary Society, she got up to read a poem which had been written about spring and love. Yes, love was at work long ago that night. We started courting and spent as much time together as we could that year. We were both studying philosophy and world religions, and we talked a lot about our new ideas.
And even after I moved back to Missouri and resumed teaching there, we kept in touch through frequent letters, and so our love grew only stronger.
After she moved away, I was eager for more adventure in the West. I heard about men getting rich in gold and silver mining. So Grandma and I moved into the Leadville, Colorado. The first job I found there was as a mule team driver.
Was your right leg still hurt and short?
Oh, yes.
I can't imagine how you could do that job with a bum leg.
Yes, Lowell. The work was extremely hard, and at night I slept underneath a wagon. It was the only shelter I had against the mountain weather. The trails through the pass were scarcely trails at all. Sometimes it was all I could do to get the wagon load of freight to its destination. Once, mules, wagon, and all went off the edge of a cliff, and I jumped off the seat to safety just before it went over.
Wow. How did you get home?
Well, I caught a ride with another mule team driver that came along a few days later. While I waited for help to arrive, I used the skills the Indians had taught me when I was just a child.
You can guess what I said when I heard about that accident.
Yeah, time really got the job. One of the towns that had been driven by the mule team was to Gunnison, Colorado, a new boom town. There were buildings going up everywhere as fast as they could build them, and new mines were being discovered every day, lots of jobs. So I moved there, took classes, and became a mining assayer.
You were a miner?
No, mining samples were brought to me, and I analyzed them and determined how much they were worth. Anyway, during those years of separation from Myrtle, letters served as our only link. Only thought she had 9 years older, and well, we shared our 5-year courtship and brought us together in a very special way.
And we were married in my town of Clinton, Missouri in 1881. And I then moved to Gunnison, Colorado with him, where he served the miners. And so it began, a life together that was to unfold in ways we could scarcely have dreamed of.
Unfortunately, that year, soon after I brought my bride and my mother to Gunnison, mining went bust. We went and moved to Pueblo, Colorado, and I learned another career. I became a notary public, and I opened a real estate and insurance business.
And the next year I was born.
Yes, Lowell.
And 2 years later, I came along, right?
That's right, Rickard. Oh, that was quite a year. We had a newborn and a 2-year-old, and we moved twice.
Back then, I was never satisfied with my surroundings or at peace with my work, and the urge to go elsewhere was always with me. We moved to Nebraska for the winter, and the next year we moved to Kansas City, Missouri, because I heard it was growing rapidly. I took up real estate again here, and at first did very well. I invested in Kansas City and helped grow the town, buying and selling commercial buildings and homes.
Did you know that there is a Myrtle Avenue named after me and another name for your Uncle Norton? But alas, when the real estate boom crashed, we lost all our savings. We even invested in a mine up in the mountains, but that vein ran out quickly, so we lost on that too. And on top of that, I became very, very ill. Along with the tuberculosis in my lungs, I had contracted malaria and had horrid abdominal cramps. Oh, so much pain. I went to doctors, but nothing helped.
Our medicine cabinet was always full to overflowing with pills and potions which Mama was constantly using. And if we so much as hiccuped, she had us take them too. Yuck.
But I was desperate. My life was near an end, and then I had a dream in which I died. Angel voices called to me and hands beckoned me away. But in the midst of this, I felt the presence of a strong force.
Back to Colorado, thinking that the cleaner air might help Mama. But I had a dream too, in which God told me that I had a great work to do right here in Kansas City.
And then, about that time, a man from the Christian Science College in Chicago named E.B. Weeks came to a town to present a series of lectures on spiritual healing. Our friends urged us to go, and we did, and it changed our lives.
I'll never forget the look in your eyes that night. She looked directly and said, "You are a child of the one whole and perfect mind, created to express the health that God is. You are a child of God, and therefore you do not inherit sickness."
I am a child of God. I do not inherit sickness.
You, Myrtle, really put that message to work.
Well, it was not easy to spend 2 hours a day repeating affirmations and meditating with 2 little boys running around. I did that for 2 years. Thank God Grandma was here to watch out for you boys, as well as helping run the household. I don't know what I would have done without you.
Oh, Royal. When Mama was sick, we had to be quiet all the time. We were about your age, so you can imagine how hard it was to have fun quietly.
During those 2 hours a day, I talked to the life in every part of my body, and so I taught my body to be well and got marvelous results. Finally, at age 42, I was healthy for the first time in my life.
It was magical, Myrtle. I was skeptical at first. I watched you in wonder at your persistence, then at your emerging health. What an example you were. I finally decided to try your method myself.
Oh, Charles, I was glad when you overcame your doubt and joined me in seeking healing. You finally recovered from that awful pain in your hip that you had carried all your life since that ice skating accident.
Yes, and it was such a relief. My hip healed and grew stronger, and I know it was hard to believe, but my leg actually lengthened until a few years I dispensed with the steel extension that I had worn since I was a child. I know you boys have seen that device in the basement. It really is true what Jesus the great healer said. "Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, so shall he do, and even greater works than these shall he do." We were so impressed that what your mama and I both became Christian Scientists. Soon after that, we started a study group with other truth seekers who were anxious to try our healing methods and for themselves. We saw other experiences, miraculous results as well.
And we continued to read a lot and go to lectures. We studied the link between religion and science. We took a lot of notes and were excited to share everything we learned. And so in the spring of 1889, we began publishing a magazine we named Modern Thought. Thank God we were all both strong and healthy. Right, Charles? Because what a busy year that was. In April, we welcomed a new baby, you, Royal. And 3 months later, we started publishing our first monthly magazine. Yes, your papa changed careers again. He became a writer and a publisher. Hey, Loyal, would you look at this magazine? It's our first issue.
Modern Thought, devoted to the spiritualization of humanity from an independent standpoint.
What does that mean?
Lowell, read just the lines on the page that we've underlined.
Okay, here, man creates the conditions in which he exists. He is a spiritual being and a creature of beliefs. Why then is not man like God, his creator, and one with him? As a man thinketh, so is he.
Oh, I know that one. It's from the Bible, in the book of Proverbs.
Hey, let me finish. As a man thinketh, so is he. Then for pity's sake, let us think ourselves, children of universal good. An old proverb says, call a man a thief and he will steal. How much more call a man a god and he shall deem himself as one. It's a lot of small type and no pictures. There are 16 pages like this?
Yes, well, the last 3 pages are mostly ads for healers, New Thought books and classes. I'd rather not have ads at all, as I'm not sure about some of these faith healers. I think some could be charlatans, but alas, ads are necessary right now. At $1 a year, Lord knows we're making enough money on subscriptions to pay for printing and mailing the magazines.
I like Wee Wisdom magazine better.
Of course, dear, it's for children.
Now, let me continue. A year after we started Modern Thought magazine, we formally formed Society of Silent Help, where people came together regularly to repeat affirmations and to pray and meditate. And that year, your mama and I were both ordained as Christian Science ministers.
You are always talking about unity. So why aren't you unity ministers?
Well, there are no unity ministers. Rickard, we don't have a church. Maybe someday, I know, but right now we aren't trying to start another church. We're already so many different churches. We just want to share what we've learned and bring people together in prayer, no matter where they go to church.
We cherish what we've learned from our ministerial training, but we do now have a difference of belief from Christian Science. We have never prohibited our students from going to the doctor. We even recommend it sometimes. We firmly believe that we must cherish our bodies. So to do that, we must give careful attention to the body and seek to know all its needs and to supply them regularly and lovingly. We even became vegetarians.
Okay, but what is unity then?
Well, 3 years ago, Myrtle and I and a few truth students met together one evening to pray. As we were sitting in the silence, suddenly I heard the name Unity. No one else heard it, but it was as clear to me as though someone had spoken it to me. That's it, I cried out, breaking the silence and startling everyone. Unity! That's the name of our work, the name that we've been looking for. Then and there, the name of Unity was adopted. It was perfect because we had borrowed the best from all religions. We believe the divine lives in all of us. We promote oneness, our unity.
And that's why, only 1 year after becoming Christian Science ministers, we decided to call our philosophy Unity, and eventually the Society of Silent Help became Silent Unity, and Modern Thought magazine became Unity magazine. And then we opened the Unity Book Company to publish spiritual and New Thought books written by other people as well.
Royal, that's where I've been working on Saturdays since I was 10 at the Unity Book Company. I wrap the magazines and books for mailing and take them to the post office. Sometimes Rickard helps me with his wagon.
Well, what about Wee Wisdom magazine?
Yes, that too. Just last year, your mama began writing and publishing the Wee Wisdom magazine that you like so much, Royal. She had had a dream in which a group of people with rowdy children were crowding around her asking, "Who will take care of the children?" And she heard the answer, "This is your work." She took that to mean that God was directing her to start a children's magazine, and she did, charging only 50 cents a year.
Grandma, will you read me a story from Wee Wisdom before bed tonight?
Of course, dear.
Oh, well, look at the time. Where did the afternoon go? I think that's enough for today. You've all been such good boys. It's time to finish your chores, and Grandma will make supper. But first, let us repeat our affirmation together. God above me,
God below me,
and all around and inside.
Everybody.
God above me, God below me, all around and inside. Just one moment, but I just want to bring our awareness to the present and to realize the history we have evolved from. I believe we can better intentionally visualize what is ours to do moving forward, to remember the consciousness the Fillmores created our unity movement from, and how it is our responsibility to practice the same sense of commitment and willingness to grow, evolve, and transform our future. They had the courage to make adjustments over time as the world changed and unexpected circumstances caused new considerations to be explored into their present existence. We are in the same reality today. The world around us has changed and is suggesting a new vision be considered, a courageous willingness to establish new ways of planning, expressing, and becoming in ministry. Unity has changed my life and offered me the tools to live a more abundant and exciting reality. I've accepted that challenge to go deeper. Have you? Will you? And will we as a ministry? So in closing, I want to share Myrtle's words when she was speaking to the power of spiritual community. She said, "Since two or more gathered together have the tremendous power that Jesus taught, what power would be released if thousands could be united in speaking one thought?" As the Unity slogan says, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Now let your life and our ministry reflect that, and I think Charles and Myrtle will be very proud. So for a grand finale, I'm inviting our players to come back to the stage, and with David Kaiser, the former music director at New Thought Unity Center in Cincinnati, leading us with the recording of his song, "I Fairly Sizzle," based on Charles Fillmore's famous quote, "I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm as I spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me." I invite our players to come up to join in singing with me, and as we come forward, I ask all of you, what is our zeal, enthusiasm, and faith directing us to be done as a spiritual community now? As we prepare for our Faith in Action program beginning October 1st, and lots is coming to share with you, and a deeper dive into our studying our spiritual practices, I call upon each of you to be what is yours to do within Unity of South Sound, in demonstrating what our abundance as a spiritual community is, knowing we are the ones we've been waiting for. And so, loyal narrator, Charles, Rickard, Mother Fillmore, and Royal, and Myrtle invite you to have a good time with this song. Oh, what did I do with it? The lyrics. Oh, okay. Hit it.
Charles Fillmore at age 93, still as chipper as he could be, took a pen and with a grin wrote this affirmation. So whenever my enthusiasm starts to fizzle, I think of the words, I fairly sizzle, and suddenly my energy soars with transformation. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm as I spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me, like Charles at age 93. The vim and vigor and vitality of youth are mine at any age. I am ageless, timeless, eternal spirit with an ever-growing faith.
Here we go again.
I fairly sizzle and enthusiasm as I spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me,
like Charles at age 93.
When the separation seems so vast and wide and impossible to heal, I feel the chasm with enthusiasm and fairly sizzle with zeal. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm as I spring forth with the mighty thing to do the things that ought to be done by me. Like Charles at age 93. We love you, Chuck. Like Charles at age 93. Takes more than luck. Like Charles at age 93.
Yeah. And now you can take a bow. Oh,
That's okay. We can do this without a podium. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is good enough. Oh, and there you have it. From the School of Practical Christianity to Unity. Oh, my God. Okay. Thank you all for playing along, and we want to thank all of you who may be joining us for the first time here or online. Thank you for sharing your consciousness with us, your love with us, and also we want you to know that there's a welcome packet at the back of the church if you're here in person, and we also encourage you to sign our guest book. If this is the second time you've been with us, welcome back, and if you've been with us for some time now, welcome home. And to all of our friends, we want to share this unity blessing. So to our newcomers and our live streamers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity you are. At this time, I'd like to invite our ushers forward to prepare for our love offering and invite Levon Hardison to prepare for her next song. This is the time in our service when we get to share of our financial blessings with this community. There are many ways to do so. You can donate through our website by clicking on the button in the upper right-hand corner. It's easy and secure, and that's both our website and the Facebook page. You can call our office, you can mail it to us. If you're here in person, there are envelopes in the back of the pews that you can insert your payment in the offering plates as they're passed down. We also encourage you to consider setting up an intentional giving as a monthly or weekly automatic payment so that it'll never be missed. And you can call Heidi in the office to learn how. However you make your tithes and your gifts, we hold these love offerings in this moment in our hands and our own hearts and affirm this together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am in perfect balance and flow with the universal tides of giving and receiving, and we are truly blessed. Yeah, savor that, yeah. So, while we're doing this, we have a few announcements to highlight this morning. We'd like you to know that you can always keep abreast of all of our announcements and Sunday services and events. Oh, Levon, I'm so sorry. Getting carried away. No, I did it. I give you Levon Hardison, you all.
No, I totally understand. You got business to do. Okay, I had no idea I was coming to Sunday church, and I got theater, and I feel I got a show. Well done. So I was giggling a little bit with Joey beforehand. This next song from Pinocchio, and I guess today's theater songs today. So. When you wish upon a star If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do, fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. The sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
Well, you sing it with such a lovely, gentle voice. We all feel this. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, now the announcements. Man, takes a village, let me tell you. So, www.unityofsouthsound.org is our website, and you can go there and subscribe for the e-blast to keep up on our newsletter, the events, Sunday services, etc. And they'll even remind you of that program will remind you. So if you fill out and submit your information, it's secure and safe, never be shared by anybody. So today is Chaplain Sunday, and we have a prayer chaplain, Ginger Landry, who will be available to pray with you after the service, and she will be over here. She's standing up, so you can recognize her. Yes? We have a designated prayer chaplain, or the vestibule is where the prayers happen. So when the door is closed, someone's in there, and then Ginger will reopen it when she's done. So we do that to protect the privacy of the prayers. Masks are also provided, and we ask you to don a mask before entering. Also, we will be offering a basic unity class this Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30 over Zoom. And to tell you more about it, I'd like to invite Reverend Megan back to the podium.
Got a little tidbit of Unity history today, sort of a segue, but I'd really like to invite you to come and have the richness of the conversation going deeper into really understanding where we came from and all the things that our movement has to offer you. And especially if you're interested in becoming a voting member of Unity of South Sound, which is really important and sacred responsibility. This class allows you to have that prerequisite understanding. And so the 2 parts, Tuesday night, we're going to look at history and kind of the overview of things, and then and the 5 principles that our foundation is based on, our philosophy is based on. And then Thursday night, we'll look at affirmative prayer, how we teach prayer and our prosperity principles, and how you can be of sacred service. So I hope you'll join me, anybody and everybody. It's a great review, and it's great discussion, and your wisdom will enhance the experience. It will be online, and you can get the link through our e-blast. Email me at Reverend Megan, M-E-G-H-A-N, at gmail.com. If you have any questions. Thank you so much.
And there's a subtle activism workshop next Sunday, which I will be doing. So this is interesting to read this. So please register if you're interested. It's basically how we deal with the unseen world, with the subtle energies. It's a little bit different. It's out of the Lorian group, but it's very in line with unity principles in terms of working with spirit to work to, it's just like a smile can be contagious. So can our intentions. And in this particular workshop, we're working with an energy that David Spangler affectionately termed, or whimsically termed, underbuddies. So I would ask you to sign up if you're interested, because there's some reading, just a few short pages. They give you an idea about the possibilities of what we're going to do, and it'll be a little bit of background about subtle activism and working with energy, and then a couple of exercises to actually practice. So there's a suggested donation of $25, though no one will be turned away for lack of funds, and I can't wait to enjoy a creative afternoon with you. So, World Day of Prayer is coming up. Please register online for the 30th Annual Unity World Day of Prayer and immerse yourself in prayer, music, and contemplative experiences during this online event on Wednesday, September 13th at unity.org. This online opening ceremony is a setup for a full few days of events on Thursday, September 14th, which is the official World Day of Prayer. As part of this celebration, Unity of South Sound will be holding an in-person prayer service on Thursday, the 14th, at 7 p.m. here in this sanctuary. Come and join others around the world as we pray an awakened world. Faith in Action is coming up too. We now have 4 study groups that have formed for our Faith in Action Fall series, and we are actively seeking 2 more. These groups will consist of 6 to 8 participants and will convene either in person or online for a transformative 7-week series running from October 1st to November 12th. Facilitators will undergo a comprehensive training covering the course material and, if relevant, how to manage the online sessions on Zoom. If you're interested in hosting or facilitating a group, please contact our office. And next week, we'll begin taking the sign-ups for the groups. Hosting an exchange student. Would you be interested in hosting an exchange student from Guatemala, or do you know someone who would? Any church member who refers a hosting family for a student will have a $500 donation given to Unity in their name. The students are visiting from October 13th to December 13th, so 2 months. Our very own Laura Fox has personally interviewed each of the students, and she's got years of experience with this. I don't know if Laura's here today, but she's been doing this a long time. They have amazing English skills. So if you're interested, please contact our office at unityofsouthsound.org for more information. And last but not least, LaDonna asked me to mention that our altar arrangement today, which is beautiful and very Hawaiian, is a memorial tribute to our love and blessings to Lahaina, Maui. The beautiful fresh flowers were donated by Flora Tacoma, and you are all welcome to take home a handful of flowers, but please leave the vases so that we can return them. Thank you. And now it's time to welcome in our children.
I was here today. So.
Oh. Okay, well, that's okay. Like I say, it takes a village. Thank you, Luke. Absolutely. We're going to bless them in absentia, and Luke's here, as he says. So please join me in saying, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity you are. And now we would like to celebrate Birthday Sunday with you. If you have a birthday in September, please stand and so that we can sing to you. Okay. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you are wonderful. Happy birthday to you. God's blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you. You are wonderful. God is blessing you now. And at this point, I invite you to stand if you're able, to hold your hands high as we sing our peace song, sending peace out into our entire world.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace and harmony. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever God is, I am. And all is well. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Sunday, same time, same place. God bless.